thing about the NFL celebrating season 100 is that they get legendary teammates together. And when you do that, you have moments like this. Check it out.
Harry and myself, we had a little disagreement, and we fell out of friendship. When I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, I didn't invite him.
No, you didn't.
But he came in a way.
I came.
He was there.
That's right. You know, we had something. I love this man. You know, everybody calls him LT. I call him Lawrence Taylor.
I'll tell you what, best football friend you could ever have. Yeah.
And you
And
know,
he can play a little bit.
You know what I love about that moment? We live in a day and age where football players, they're afraid to show their emotions. And I feel like most men should. And in that moment, we got to see the raw feelings between teammates and what that relationship was like. And we were just flies on the wall of a very powerful moment. What was that like?
You know, Harry's he's one of my closest friends. He's one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great guy, and we have respect for each other.
That's awesome.
I tell you what, man. Hey, that boy right there, he can play some football. He can play.
Lawrence, let's go to one of your moments of triumph. Super Bowl XXI. It's
Okay.
you versus the young John Elway, Giants,
Okay.
Broncos. Tell us about that game and how big was it for you to get that ring?
That was the first of Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what? That year, I gotta say, we were the best team in the NFL. I mean, after the Minnesota game, nobody played with us. Nobody played with us. I mean, we lost our first game. We lost to Dallas the first game, and then we lose our seventh game.
Okay.
Seventh game. And then it looked like we was going to lose to Minnesota, and we end up having a great play by Phil Simms and the wide receiver, and we went. And then from that game on, nobody played with us. We were the best team in the league. Nobody. Hey, listen, guy, you start the game, first quarter. By the third quarter, man, we sitting in the stands. Nobody played with us.
Yeah.
We were good.
You were very good, and you won 2 titles with Bill Parcells. I feel like you're very much linked with him if you think about your greatness and what you were on the field. So what was your relationship like with him, and how did it sort of evolve in life and on the field?
Bill Parcells, I'm going to tell you something. You know, even though you look at a guy like Bill Belichick, who probably will go down as the greatest coach of all time, you know, and you can't take it away from him.
Right.
Bill Parcells will always be in my number one.
Really?
Best coach, because I mean, Coach, he made me want to play. I mean, even every year, there's during a season, there's times when you just don't want to do it no more. You just don't want to do it.
Phil Simms said he's a motivator, master motivator.
Yeah, he's a motivator, all right. But sometimes you just don't want to do it. And he finds a way to turn that switch. We used to go to away games, and he'd have his little sheet, and he'd be calling off names. Roll call.
Yeah.
LT, you here? I might be in my. Yeah, Coach, I'm here. He said, let's go, bus driver. We got enough to win.
That's it.
That fires me up. That fires me up.
We do this Belichick sit down with Collinsworth and Rich Eisen were there, and Belichick shared a story about maybe some of the team meetings you weren't as engaged with it. Belichick, Parcells in those rooms, you're in the classroom listening to them. The impact that you 3 had on defensive football. Do you realize the legacy that you guys left on just how you changed the game as a unit, the 3 of you guys?
No, I'm waiting for the check, though.
Okay. Changing the game check.
But, right. No, but I'll tell you what, Parcells, great coach. Belichick, you get over his early days, but you look at him now and you just look at his amazement, what he has achieved in over the years. Because 20 years ago, we would have never thought that.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, he's going to be the best. And he deserves it because he's a workaholic now. Mm-hmm. And I got to say this one thing. I have never, ever been on a Bill Belichick defense and not gone into a game totally prepared. Mm-hmm. All right, he will prepare you. I mean, you never have to worry about going into a game and not knowing what the hell you're doing.
Lawrence, we appreciate you. We got to go real quick, but I have to ask you this question. What advice would you give to 22-year-old self, but more importantly, the 22-year-old athlete that is about to start this NFL journey, as you know, could bring a lot to your life, not just on the field, but personally?
You know what? I look at it, if I had a chance to do it all over again, how I would do things, because back in the day when we were fancy free, we didn't really care. It was like a gladiator sport, man. Hey,
bring it.
I'm a gladiator. It comes out, or I do my task on Sunday, and then Monday I reap my rewards. And so, hey, it's a different type of sports now. Hey, you need not just bronze, you need brains. And if you think you can do it all by yourself, you can't. You need help. You need help. You need friends. You need help, and you need people that you can trust. And that's just on a Monday. Okay. All right.
Great advice, man. Lawrence, I appreciate your transparency and honesty. Thank you so much for joining us. Lawrence Taylor, absolute legend. Great advice. Great advice.
More Good Morning Football on the way. Let's check in the newsroom with Will Selva. He's in Culver City to take it away. Will?
All right. Thank you, Kay. Guys, great having LT there in studio. Love hearing those stories. Well, the 49ers win at New Orleans certainly came at a cost on Sunday. Their injury report is a lengthy one, so here goes. Quarterback Richard Sherman is now dealing with the right hamstring strain. Head coach Kyle Shanahan says Sherman will likely miss a couple of weeks. Emmanuel Mosley is likely to fill the void for Sherman. Sherman has 3 picks, 11 pass breakups to go along with 53 combined tackles. Fellow defensive back K'Wan Williams is in concussion protocol. Now, like Sherman, defensive end Dee Ford will miss some time with his own right hamstring injury. He, in fact, re-aggravated it in the win after playing just 4 snaps. The hammy had previously caused him to miss weeks 12 and 13. Shanahan says Ford is expected to miss at least 3 weeks. And perhaps the worst of them all, center Weston Richburg is out for the season with a torn patella tendon. Richburg suffering the injury during the 4th quarter. He played a dozen games last season with a torn quadriceps. If you're Shanahan, you just want to look away from that injury report.
Yeah, it's tough. It was a huge win, and we enjoyed that a ton, obviously. But, some mixed feelings today, with some of these injuries, which is tough. And, especially losing Richburg for the year. The other guys got some serious ones, too. Hopefully we can keep playing well so we can give them a chance to come back and help us if we can make our season longer than 3 games.
And safety Jaquaski Tart dealing with broken ribs. Of course, Quan Alexander out for the season with a torn pec, and yet they're still 11-2. We'll still come here on Good Morning Football. Who will take home the fiery crown this week? Inquiring minds want to know. There it is. They can wear that beautiful crown. That's up ahead on the other side. Stay with us.
NFL Network.
Now, Lamar Jackson has continued to add to his legend in the last weekend's win over Buffalo, providing more and more absolutely ridiculous highlights. Let's go to the TrueView video and show you a different look at a couple of his best plays in that game. Let's break this on down. The first play, this 17-yard run, a zone read. He decides to keep it. He's going to see the defense crash down on Mark Ingram. Once you pay attention to Mark Andrews on the edge, who was a fantastic blocker, not just a pass catcher. And then Lamar Jackson just scoots on out of bounds. Listen, in the beginning of the season, we all said, is this sustainable? He's going to take too many shots. He's too slight. Watch how he gets out of bounds at the very end. Yeah, could he fight for a couple extra yards? Could he try to shake another guy and go to the end zone? Cool, but he decides to get out of bounds. That's how you stay healthy and maintain his health the rest of the season. Right here, he's going to see Jordan Poyer. He's going to jab step him a little bit just to draw him in. And because of his speed and athleticism as a defender, you're going to want to jump on him and try to make that play. Him being this close to the end zone is too dangerous for any defense to not respect. They respect his speed. They respect his ability. So he decides, you know what, I'm going to flip this ball to Nick Boyle. And Boyle rules every time he gets the ball from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson can do it all. The reason I wanted to show those two plays is because he has to make great decisions. We can talk about the arm, we can talk about the legs, but you got to start talking about his mind. Lamar Jackson continues to impress.
More than just highlights,
It's
right?
more than just
gifts.
More than just gifts. And we always have a highlight when Will Selva is hitting us with the news from Culver City. Will, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on there, Nate and guys? Talking about a place you've always been affiliated with, Seattle. There's news out of there, and it's not particularly very good. Seahawks running back Rashad Penny looked like he finally turned the corner. He was coming off 2 straight productive games, running for 2 and 3 yards and 3 TDs, helping form a potent 1-2 punch with Chris Carson. But he got some bad news as NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport is reporting Penny tore his ACL in Sunday's loss to the Rams and is done for the remainder of the season. Head coach Pete Carroll saying, quote, he has had a big impact the last few weeks. We're going to miss him the rest of the season. Well, the Falcons are suffering a big loss on offense as well, as wide receiver Calvin Ridley is out for the season after suffering an abdominal injury in Sunday's win over the Panthers. Ridley ends his sophomore campaign with 866 yards receiving and a team-best 7 touchdowns. Tom Brady could certainly use a target like Ridley. TB12 has the lowest completion percentage and passer rating since 2013. In Sunday's loss to the Chiefs, Brady had just 169 passing yards, his second lowest output of the season. He joined WEEI Radio on Monday and was asked what they need to do to get more production out of the offense.
And I mean, I wish there was just one magic thing that you could just, do and it would just change everything. But, it's not, it really comes down to all of us, 11 as a unit just executing well, whether it's a run or pass or whoever I'm throwing to, I got to make a good throw and give our guys a chance to make a play. So, I could just focus on what my job is to read it out and try to find the right matchup and try to make a good, accurate throw.
Now, the Patriots have lost 3 of their last 5. They did the same thing between weeks 10 and 15 last year. And what did they do after that? Well, they won their next 5 games, including the playoffs and, of course, the Super Bowl. Case in point, why Kyle has kept them in his top 5. You never can count them out. Period. Exclamation point.
Talk about Will.
Whatever you want to use.
They can lose to Cincinnati by 50 this weekend. They're going to be in number 5 next week, fam. Count on that.
Yep.
Those are my guys.
Keep them in there.
Well, let's keep the Pats talk going. The offensive woes continued in their Week 14 loss against the Chiefs. They have 2 straight games. They've lost to the Ravens, the Texans, and who else did they just lose to? The Chiefs. In the past 5 weeks, 3 AFC contending losses, and their 1-win Bengals are up next Sunday. So for more on the Patriots and their struggles, here's Mike Giardi.
Good morning, Kay. Usually by this point of the season, the Patriots know what they are offensively, with the rare exception, including last year when they became more of a downhill power running football team late in December and on into the postseason. But this year, they can't run the ball. And now they're finding that they have very few playmakers on offense aside from Julian Edelman and James White. Edelman's always going to get his targets, somehow finds a way to get open. But now White, who has been the second most reliable guy in this offense, is getting doubled on 3rd downs and in red zone situations. Sort of getting the Rob Gronkowski treatment, even though obviously different positions and certainly different size and stature. But that is forcing Brady to look elsewhere. And he's just not getting enough from other players. Mohamed Sanu, acquired for a 2nd-round pick from the Atlanta Falcons at the trade deadline, was in the game for 39 snaps. He was targeted officially just once, although there were 2 balls thrown his way. One was a defensive pass interference, but just 1 catch for 13 yards, and he was invisible in the second half of the game. They need more from him, and they need more from their rookie wide receivers, Jacoby Myers, who had 2 big drops, and, of course, first-round pick N'Keal Harry, who got just 2 snaps in the game on Sunday. Okay, back to you.
Thank you so much. And we did hear Tom Brady say if there was one magical thing to turn around and do it, that we do it. And I wish that there was. So maybe there's not one magical thing, but I'm pretty sure there's like one guy that could step up and start making some plays. So they're in great shape. 3 games to go. Who's that guy? Who needs to step up for the Patriots offense?
I'll go right where Mike said. Mohamed Sanu, second-round pick for him, a guy who's played in a Super Bowl, who's played good football in this league. Last 4 games, 13 yards, 14 yards, 0 yards, 4 yards. It's one of the great mysteries right now with the Patriots. Why trade for him if you're not going to use him? Get on the same page fast.
This is America's Game Week. What I mean by that is there's a documentary every year for the NFL Network where we look at the Super Bowl champions and we collect all the doubters. Last year was after the Dolphins lost in the Miami Miracle. A lot of us were featured on that.
Doc Week.
But is this not a year where it feels like there isn't going to be an America's game at the end of this? I don't know. They're a pinata right now. You throw in this whole Bengals situation with the videotaper at the Browns-Bengals game, and it's just more reason to be skeptical about the Patriots. Doesn't feel like it did in recent years, and this offense certainly doesn't look like it. I'm not so sure they are going to just turn this thing around.
Congratulations, you just made the trailer.
There you go.
That's the whole point of this week, is to say it doesn't seem like they can win, right? I mean, here we are.
I would say it's Josh McDaniels. You mentioned it earlier in the show. One of you guys, I said, where's Josh McDaniels? We haven't mentioned his name. There's a lot of boy geniuses out there when it comes to play calling. I get it. There's some young guys, some unfamiliar names. Maybe they're playing slow because they don't have a grasp on the playbook. And if that is the case, then what are you doing as an offensive coordinator to put these guys in the best position? Of course, Jacoby Myers is going to have to catch the ball. Players are going to have to step up. N'Keal Harry has to be more consistent. We need more plays like the touchdown they took away. Dorsett, we got to use your speed in the correct way. I feel like Josh McDaniels, it's up to him. This needs to be a great coach performance for him.
I think it's the resilience. That's what's going to come through. Tom Curran wrote a brilliant piece on NBC Sports. It's something we talk about a lot, but this is in their DNA, as he puts really eloquently. It's who they are, and I know that there's players who weren't there last year and a lot of new rookies and young guys. But, you know, those Malcolm Butler moments come when everything is facing them and their backs are up against the wall. So we'll see what happens against the Bengals. As we all know, we're on to Cincinnati. More GMFB on the way. Former Angry Runs champion is coming back to defend his title against Todd Gurley.
Can anybody take out the kit? Who's taking out the People's Champ? We'll get into it.
And a Hall of Famer in the building, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, my Lord.
Hey, yeah!
Good morning, sir.
Kyle turns around, oh, my Lord. I
didn't know Lawrence Taylor was here.
Oh, my Lord.
Hello.
Get in.